Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. And tonight's Raw was from the Bell MTS Place in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And this was Monday Night Raw's go-home show for Super ShowDown, which is this Thursday. The glorified Saudi Arabia house show known as Super ShowDown, which I am not hyped for, not looking forward to it, but still, I'll watch it and review it for you guys. But if you guys haven't checked out my previous video that I uploaded earlier today, I went live. It was Monday afternoon, was at the beach, was on a bike ride, so decided to do a live video, just check in with you guys. So if you guys haven't checked out my live video that I uploaded earlier today, definitely go check it out. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie review is up. If you guys haven't checked out my review of that, definitely give it a watch. And next week, there will be no Monday Night Raw review because I will be at Raw next week at the Barclays Center. And hopefully, it's a decent show next week. I am going, by myself to the show, meeting up with one friend who is going to the show next week, but he's not sitting in the same section as me. He's going to be sitting in the next section that's close to me. So, but just wanted to get that out. Going to Raw next week. So, but Monday Night Raw tonight, as a go-home show for Super ShowDown, delivered nothing. WWE, logic. They never get you hyped up for the go-home shows. But the show as a whole tonight, I thought it was just an average show. I know a lot of people said that it was boring. I wasn't bored by it tonight. To me, it was just an average show. Wasn't a great show or good show by any means, but it was just average. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. But let's get on with the review. So Monday Night Raw opened up tonight with Randy Orton. Randy Orton came out to a crowd of boos, of course, and he got on the mic and he ended up saying that he needs to apologize. Randy Orton admitted that his emotions have become unbalanced as of late. Orton ended up saying that he arrived to the arena today, and he was told that it's been 15 years since Monday Night Raw came to Winnipeg. Wow, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know it was 15 years since WWE had a Monday Night Raw show in Winnipeg. So Orton went on to say that when he was 24 then, and these when they came to Winnipeg, back in the day, Winnipeg, the crowd there, it's always hot, and the crowd there tonight, they were pretty hot, in my opinion. It was a hot crowd, and Orton ended up saying that he did some digging. And on the last Monday Night Raw that was held in Winnipeg 15 years ago, he said that he was the Intercontinental Champion, which, of course, he was at the time. And he said that on that Monday Night Raw, he was punched by a certain man. He ended up saying the man who would eventually save him from himself. He said who would eventually look up to and love like a brother. He ended up saying that his name was Adam, but we all know him as Edge. So basically, he was talking about, of course, Edge. Edge's real name is Adam Copeland. So Orton ended up saying that if Edge was here tonight, and the fans end up interrupting Orton, and the crowd erupted with a "We want Edge" chant. So Orton ended up saying that Edge is not here because of what Orton did to him, almost a month ago, with the chair shot that Orton did to Edge's head, where Edge's head was lying on, the chair, and so Orton ended up bashing, Edge's head with the chair, and Orton says he knows fans can't understand what he did to Edge. So he went on and he ended up saying that he's truly sorry for what he did. So what is this? Now every week Randy Orton's going to come out and he's going to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." So Kevin Owens ended up coming out. Big pop from the crowd because Kevin Owens, of course, is from Canada. Fans were behind Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens ended up getting on the mic and he ended up mentioning about his problems with the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins, and Buddy Murphy, and also AOP. Kevin Owens ended up saying that he's putting Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, and AOP to the side tonight. He ends up saying he's put them to the side because he has a problem with Randy Orton. So Kevin Owens ends up saying that he doesn't believe Orton's apology. So Kevin Owens wants to know, just like the fans want to know, why Randy Orton attacked Edge. So Orton ends up telling Kevin Owens that he doesn't want to go down that road. Kevin Owens ended up saying to Randy Orton that he does want to go down that road. So Owens went on and talked about how he hated to watch Edge retire. We all, hated to watch Edge retire. Edge was, good wrestler. Back in the day, we all enjoyed him, whether he was a babyface, whether he was a heel, and we all hated him as a heel. From the Matt Hardy feud that he had. I still remember the ladder match that he had with Matt Hardy at Raw Homecoming, where that ladder match, the loser had to leave Raw, and Edge ended up winning that match, and Matt Hardy had to leave Raw, and then, Matt Hardy went to SmackDown, and then the whole feud with him and John Cena, which that was a great feud. So, but yeah, Kevin Owens ended up saying that he hated to watch Edge retire, which, all of us hated to watch Edge retire. And Kevin Owens ended up saying that he hated to watch Edge retire because he didn't have the chance to work with him. Can you imagine that? Seeing a dream match between Edge and Kevin Owens? That would be a very entertaining match. A dream match there. So Kevin Owens went on to say that he saw Edge return at the Royal Rumble. And he was watching from the back as a fan. So Kevin Owens ended up saying, to look and see Edge get back, at what he loves, and to know he could possibly wrestle him one day. And he ended up saying that for Randy Orton to take that all the way for Kevin Owens the next night on Raw. So Kevin Owens ended up asking Randy Orton once again, why did he do it? Why did he do what he did to Edge? And Orton ends up saying that Kevin Owens doesn't know him. And he said Edge thought, he knew him too. So Kevin Owens ends up saying that he's right. He doesn't know Randy Orton. But he knows people are tired of hearing them talk and just want to see them fight. So Kevin Owens ends up dropping the mic and calls Randy Orton out. So Orton is getting hyped up. He's ready to accept the challenge to Kevin Owens. And Randy Orton then just drops the mic, exits the ring, fans boo. And pretty much that was basically how the segment ended. But really awesome segment to open Raw tonight. I really enjoyed this whole segment between Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. I like how Kevin Owens went out there and, you're saying that he wants, to wrestle Edge one day. And hopefully, that comes. Hopefully we get to see that in the coming future. Have a dream match between, Edge and Kevin Owens. That would be really awesome to see. That would be a really entertaining match. So, but it was an awesome segment. Really enjoyed it. And then after that, we had Charlie Caruso. Charlie Caruso is backstage with Angel Garza and Zelina Vega. And they end up saying that they're confident about Garza going up against Humberto Carrillo. Once again, Angel Garza having a match with Humberto, again, his cousin. So Zelina Vega ends up saying that nothing is stopping Angel Garza from going to the top. And they all stress, their relationship is all business. So Caruso ends up thanking Zelina Vega for the interview. And Charlie Caruso ends up shaking Zelina Vega's hand. And pretty much that was basically that. But, well, what can I say? Then we had Angel Garza versus Humberto Carrillo. This was a fun, good match. In my opinion, very entertaining match. And we had, it was back and forth between Garza and Humberto. And Garza was in control. And Garza ended up laying a suplex to Humberto. Big super kick. Humberto ended up kicking out of it. There was a point in the match where Humberto did a headstand. And he did a headstand on the ring apron. And Angel Garza comes in and kicks Humberto while Humberto was, still doing the headstand. And then towards the end of the match, we had Garza end up getting the other pin because there was a back and forth pin attempts from both Garza and Humberto. So Garza ended up finally getting the pin. And there you go. Angel Garza ends up winning the match. Overall, awesome match. Really enjoyed this match between the both of them. Angel Garza, very good in the ring. And like I said, Angel Garza reminds me of another Eddie Guerrero. Even though nobody else can be Eddie Guerrero, but Angel Garza has that sense of Eddie Guerrero in him. But overall, awesome match, very entertaining match. Enjoyed this match from beginning to end, and the crowd was really invested in this match. And then we went to Ricochet versus Luke Gallows. Last week it was Carl Anderson that Ricochet took on, and Ricochet ended up defeating Carl Anderson. So now this week he took on Luke Gallows. And the match itself, it was pretty okay match. And we had Ricochet sending Luke Gallows, out to the floor. Nails a big dive. Ricochet ends up bringing Gallows back into the ring. Ricochet springboards at Gallows. Knocks Gallows out with a big boot. Gallows end up dropping an elbow on Ricochet, working Ricochet in the corner. We see Paul Heyman watching the match from backstage on the TV. No sign of Brock Lesnar there. And yeah, Ricochet is going to be taking on Brock Lesnar this Thursday at Super ShowDown, which he's going to lose the match in maybe 2 minutes. 2 minutes tops. I may be wrong on that, but that's my prediction. Brock Lesnar is going to be walking out of Super ShowDown retaining the WWE title. So, towards the end of the match, Ricochet nails a super kick to Gallows, then hits the recoil. Ricochet ends up going to the top, and he ends up delivering the shooting star press to Luke Gallows, pins Gallows, and there you go. Ricochet wins the match. And overall, pretty okay match from Ricochet and Luke Gallows. But yeah, sadly, Ricochet is going to be jobbing to Brock Lesnar on Thursday. So, yeah, Carl Anderson ends up losing last week, and now Gallows lose this week. Yeah, and they claim that the OC is the best tag team in the world. Remember, at Crown Jewel, they were crowned the best tag team in the world. Yeah. After watching, the matches that the OC had, Carl Anderson losing last week and now Gallows, best tag team in the world. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Carl Anderson was arguing with Luke Gallows. AJ Styles ends up yelling at them to get it together. And he reminds them that they're the greatest tag team. They're the greatest tag team. Oh my God. Yeah, they're the greatest tag team. Yeah, you had Carl Anderson losing to Ricochet last week, and Gallows just lost. Oh my God. Greatest tag team. Yeah, they're jobbers. So then Styles ended up saying that a miracle could happen if Ricochet wins the title from Brock Lesnar. A miracle? A miracle. Yeah, I don't know what you're saying, Styles. Yeah, Ricochet is going to be jobbing to Brock Lesnar come Thursday. And like I said, predicted 2 minutes. 2 minutes that match is going to be at Super ShowDown. Maybe wrong on that, but that's my prediction. A miracle could happen if Ricochet wins. And then he ended up saying, oh, if Ricochet wins the title from Brock Lesnar, then Styles will be waiting for his title shot. So Styles went on and says WrestleMania is right around the corner, and they will plant their flag at the top of the food chain. And so Aleister Black ends up coming, walks by. Styles yells at Aleister. Styles is talking trash at Aleister Black. He then threatens Aleister. Carl Anderson ends up decking Aleister Black because Aleister was going to go to speak or maybe strike at Styles. So Gallows ends up joining in, and then Styles. So we got a OC beatdown on Aleister Black, and then they retreated. The OC retreated, and then Aleister Black got back up. So, but this is going to be leading to a match that we're going to be seeing next week, which I will get to. Which I'll get to explaining. So then Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out. They get in the ring. Paul Heyman, of course, has the mic on his hand doing his introduction as always. And Paul Heyman ends up going on about Ricochet facing Brock Lesnar this Thursday at Super ShowDown. So Brock Lesnar was laughing at some of Paul Heyman's lines that he was explaining. And Paul Heyman insists that Brock Lesnar will retain the WWE title this Thursday. Well, no shit. No shit. Brock Lesnar's going to be retaining. So he ended up saying that. And he ends up saying that Brock Lesnar, after he retains at Super ShowDown, he's going to defend against McIntyre at WrestleMania. And Paul Heyman ends up saying that this is a spoiler, that Brock Lesnar will make mincemeat out of Drew McIntyre and take him to Suplex City. And that Brock Lesnar is going to F5 Drew McIntyre. And that Brock Lesnar is going to be done with McIntyre once and for all at WrestleMania. So that was that. So little hype for this short squash match that's going to be shown Thursday with Brock Lesnar and Ricochet, and more hype for Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. To me, McIntyre's taking the title from Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. This is McIntyre's time, and they're building him up. The crowd is behind him. The crowd loves McIntyre. So come WrestleMania, we're gonna have a new WWE champion in Drew McIntyre. But this is WWE we're talking about. Who knows? WWE could still make Brock Lesnar retain the title. Well, hopefully that's not the case. And so then we had Erick Rowan versus Aleister Black. And this was a pretty decent match from the both of them. We had Rowan, of course, coming out with his mystery cage. And still, WWE has yet to reveal who is in Rowan's mystery cage. We only seen that one time where Mojo Rawley ended up taking a look inside the cage. And, he was freaked out. And then we had that one jobber that Erick Rowan faced and saw inside the cage. And when that jobber's face was shown again, it was all blooded up. When is WWE going to reveal what's in Erick Rowan's cage? So, match got underway. Bell rang. Erick Rowan ended up telling Aleister Black to bring it. Black ends up coming in to Erick Rowan. And Rowan then took control, runs right over Aleister Black. Rowan ends up slamming Aleister. Fans were booing him. We have Rowan just stomping away on Aleister. He ended up driving his knees into Aleister's back. Rowan ended up delivering a boot to Aleister's head. Rowan then ended up standing tall. And there was a point where Aleister was trying to take down Erick Rowan. Rowan ends up taking Aleister's legs out on the ring apron, sending him to the floor. Rowan then ended up sending Aleister Black into the timekeeper's area. Referee ends up checking on Aleister Black. And there was a point where Aleister was by the steps, by the ring steps. Rowan was going to move in, try to take out Aleister, who was right by the ring steps. Aleister ended up moving out of the way. And so Erick Rowan goes, head first into the ring steps, knocking the cage off of the ring step. The cage went flying. So it was down to Erick Rowan making it back into the ring. Referee was counting 9 because Aleister was still on the floor. So the referee made the 9 count. I'm sorry, Aleister was in the ring, not Erick Rowan. So Erick Rowan was on the other floor. Referee was counting 9. Rowan ended up coming back into the ring, and Aleister ends up delivering the black mass to Erick Rowan. And Aleister then delivered a second black mass to Erick Rowan. There you go. Aleister went for the pin. There you go. Aleister Black ended up win the match. But overall, pretty decent match between both Aleister Black and Erick Rowan. Post-match, you had Aleister Black being interviewed on the stage by Sarah Schreiber. Sarah Schreiber was asking Aleister how he overcame the odds after being attacked by the OC. So Aleister ends up mentioning unbridled rage. He ends up saying that his rage will be AJ Styles' burden next week. And he says that next week he will fight AJ Styles. So there you go. So next week we're getting AJ Styles versus Aleister Black. And, I'll be there live to see that match. That's going to be a enjoyable, decent match, I hope. So there's something to look forward to next week there. Then we had a sit-down interview. This was pre-recorded, and Charlie Caruso was interviewing Drew McIntyre. McIntyre ended up saying that he doesn't care who wins at Super ShowDown, whether it's Brock Lesnar or whether it's Ricochet. It is Brock Lesnar. But he says that it's irrelevant to him. So McIntyre ended up going on about his time with WWE, where he went back 13 years ago when he debuted. And he ends up talking about not winning any titles since then. He ended up saying that the reason why he didn't win major titles is he has had no one to blame but himself for that. So he also mentions about his run in NXT, which that was a great run that he had. The crowd really loved Drew McIntyre there in NXT. Before he came to NXT. He was doing well in the Indies. Then he came to NXT, had a good run there, was NXT champion. And he came back to Monday Night Raw, in 2018. And he said he came back as a man after, leaving home as a boy. So McIntyre ended up saying that he shows that he is living proof that if you work hard, you can do whatever you want. He also talks about, how he eliminated Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble, which was a really awesome moment. So Charlie Caruso ended up asking McIntyre, what he was thinking, as McIntyre was in the Royal Rumble match. And McIntyre ends up telling Caruso that he just knew he had to eliminate Brock Lesnar. And he says he talked, and McIntyre ended up talking more about Brock Lesnar. And he ended up saying that he doesn't care who it's against, and that he will fulfill his destiny at WrestleMania. So I really enjoyed this sit-down interview with Drew McIntyre. I liked how they talked about his past and, him in his NXT run. So they're really getting behind McIntyre here, building him up, for his WrestleMania match against Brock Lesnar. Oh, man, and then we got this garbage. So, R-Truth is in the ring. And I like R-Truth. R-Truth is funny, but was this really needed? And he ends up saying that this is the winter premiere of the Truth TV segment. And it's been a while since we've seen Truth TV. If you remember when, R-Truth was doing this Truth TV in his little rivalry that he had with The Miz, where The Miz wanted to cancel Truth TV. That was back when R-Truth and Carmella were a thing, where they were doing the dance break thing. Yeah, you all remember that. So he introduced his guests, who were Bobby Lashley and Lana. Oh, great. Oh, great. I could see the fans picking up the remotes, muting the TV. But they came out, Monday Night Raw went to commercial. And then when Monday Night Raw came back, R-Truth ends up saying that he has lots of questions for Lana and Bobby Lashley. And Lana gets on the mic, oh great, and everybody's muting their TV now, possibly. And I know for a fact, probably a lot of you were muting the TV as Lana spoke on the mic. So Lana ended up saying they aren't here for his stupid talk show. That her and Bobby Lashley aren't here for his stupid talk show. And Lana ended up saying that R-Truth has a match with Bobby Lashley. So Lana ended up telling the referee, oh, ring the bell. Sorry about that, but I was saying, Lana ended up saying, oh, ring the bell. And R-Truth was still doing some comedy there. So the bell rang. Bobby Lashley ends up cheap shotting R-Truth in the corner. Lashley ends up dominating on R-Truth. And Rusev Day chants were getting loud from the crowd. Lashley ends up tossing R-Truth to the floor. And we see R-Truth hit John Cena's signature moves. The whole 5-knuckle shuffle. R-Truth even did the "you can't see me." Then the 5-knuckle shuffle. And then Truth goes for the attitude adjustment. Lashley ends up reversing it. R-Truth then kicks Bobby Lashley. Lashley ends up coming back, delivering a spear to R-Truth. There you go. Bobby Lashley wins the match. But this was just a squash match. Moving on. And if I swear, if I see Bobby Lashley and Lana, they come out next week on Monday Night Raw, as I'm there, I tell you, I am getting up from my seat and heading to the bathroom. Because it would be a bathroom break for me there. So, mark my words, I will get up and go to the bathroom or get a beverage. I don't fucking care about Lana, Bobby Lashley, whole storyline shit with them. And so then we had an announcement that next week will be Styles versus Aleister Black because they confirmed it. And then we're going to be seeing Rey Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo teaming up to take on Garza and Andrade. Yes, Andrade is returning next week on Raw because he was suspended because of the wellness policy. So his 30-day suspension is up. But that's something to look forward to next week. And then we had the Women's Elimination Chamber contract signing. And I'm like, this was not needed. When was there a Elimination Chamber contract signing? We never even had one, if I can remember, from back in the day. This is the first time we're having a contract signing for an Elimination Chamber. Doesn't make any sense. So Jerry Lawler was in the ring. We had Asuka, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, Liv Morgan. Natalya ended up coming out. These are the other participants who are going to be in the Women's Elimination Chamber match. And Shayna Baszler. There was no sign of her out here for the contract signing. And of course, the winner of the Elimination Chamber, the Women's Elimination Chamber match, will challenge Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Obviously, it's predictable. We all know it's going to be Shayna Baszler. So, Lawler ends up talking. The fans were chanting Lawler's name. So Asuka then snatches the mic from Jerry Lawler. She ends up saying, "No one cares." And then you have Asuka going, her talking in Japanese. So Asuka ended up pointing out that there are only 5 women here. So fans were giving Asuka the Stone Cold Steve Austin what treatment. And Jerry Lawler ended up saying that Shayna was in the arena. But either she's running late to the signing or she's a no-show. He says, but either way, we're going to get this contract signed. We're going to get this contract signing done. Can't talk. So the fans were booing. Jerry Lawler ends up having Sarah Logan signed first. And I'm like, why is Sarah Logan in this Women's Elimination Chamber? What did she accomplish? So the contract was being passed around. Next one went to, was passed down the line. Then Liv Morgan ended up signing it. Natalya signed it. So Liv Morgan ended up signing it. She gets up and she brings the contract over to Ruby Riott. She ends up slamming the contract in front of Ruby. So Ruby ends up standing up, stares Liv Morgan down. So Natalya was also got up, and Asuka ends up signing the contract last. So Asuka ended up signing it, and then Shayna Baszler's music ended up hitting, and the women were looking at the stage thinking that Shayna was going to come from the stage, but Shayna came through the crowd. She came over the barricade, and so Shayna gets in the ring, signs the contract last, and she's staring down, each of the competitors there. She ends up stopping at Natalya. So Shayna Baszler ended up getting in Natalya's face. Natalya stands up, faces off against Shayna Baszler, and Jerry Lawler ends up leaving the ring, and he ends up saying, all these women are on their own. Sorry about that, but I was saying, Jerry Lawler ended up getting out of the ring, and he ended up saying, oh, the women are on their own. So Asuka ends up coming over. She ends up throwing Natalya, and Asuka ends up taking the mic, and she gets in Shayna Baszler's face. She ends up yelling at Shayna, and Asuka then ends up telling Shayna to bite her. So they argue. Natalya ends up taking Asuka down. She unloads on Asuka. Then we see Liv Morgan. She ends up leaping at Ruby Riott. Both her and Ruby start brawling. Sarah Logan gets involved. She pulls Liv Morgan away from Ruby Riott. Staffers end up clearing the ring of the tables and the chairs. So Shayna ends up putting her arms in the air. She wants nothing to do with what's happening. So Shayna Baszler and Liv Morgan were in the ring. The others were brawling on the floor. So Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan, they go out of the ring. Shayna Baszler is in the ring. And pretty much, basically that was that. But there was no need for a contract signing for this. No need. Doesn't make any sense. Why have a contract signed for an Elimination Chamber? But then Baszler ended up was standing in the ring, and she ends up telling Becky Lynch to bring it, because Becky Lynch then came out, which forgot to mention this. Becky Lynch then came out. Shayna Baszler was standing in the ring, tells Becky Lynch to bring it. Becky ends up going to the ring, and both her and Shayna start brawling. And officials from the back came and rushed to the ring, break them apart. Fans were booing and they were chanting, "Let them fight." And Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch broke free, and then they continued to brawl again. That was how the segment ended. Moving on. Like I said, there was no need for a contract signing. So then we had Buddy Murphy versus Angelo Dawkins of the Street Profits. And the Street Profits were taking on, Angelo Dawkins was taking on Buddy Murphy, and then Montez Ford was taking on the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins. So the Street Profits came out. They ended up cutting promos on Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. They say that they will win the titles at Super ShowDown this week. Yeah, okay. They're not winning. And they say they always want all the smoke. So, pretty much that's basically what the Street Profits had to say. So then out came Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins and AOP. So Buddy Murphy ended up coming to the ring for his match against Angelo Dawkins. Bell ended up ringing. Buddy Murphy ended up tossing, shirt into Angelo Dawkins' face, distracting Angelo Dawkins. He then knees Angelo Dawkins, unloads to Dawkins in the corner. And we see Buddy Murphy charges into Dawkins, but Dawkins ends up slamming Buddy Murphy. And Angelo Dawkins went for the pin. And Seth Rollins ends up getting involved, coming into the ring, attacks Angelo Dawkins. And so because of that, Angelo Dawkins ends up winning the match by disqualification. So post-match, Montez Ford ends up getting into the ring to save Dawkins. And Montez Ford ends up taking the mic, and he ended up saying that Dawkins hit Buddy Murphy so hard last week that they took his first name away. Because, of course, WWE ended up taking, Buddy Murphy's, first name, Buddy, out, the equation. Now they're calling him basically Murphy, which to me, he's still going to be Buddy Murphy. I'm still going to call him Buddy Murphy. No need for anybody to call him just Murphy. So Montez Ford ends up taunting at the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins, on the mic. He ends up threatening Seth Rollins. So Rollins ends up taking off, his shirt on the stage, runs into the ring. And so Montez Ford versus Seth Rollins got in the way. And Montez Ford ended up dropping Seth Rollins with a drop kick. Ends up taking out Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy on the floor. So after that, Montez Ford got back in the ring, started shaking the ropes, very hyped up. And so Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, the referee ended up ejecting Angelo Dawkins from ringside. So now it was just Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, embracing because of that. And the referee then ejects Buddy Murphy. So it was just down to Montez Ford and Seth Rollins. And this was a good match between the both of them. Montez Ford was very good in this match. Very enjoyable here. It was back and forth between the both of them. And towards the end of the match, you had Montez Ford. He goes to the top. He goes for a frog splash. Seth Rollins ended up moving out of the way. And Seth Rollins then took control, ended up delivering the curb stomp. There you go. Seth Rollins ends up winning the match. But overall, this was a good match. And, it was very enjoyable. So it was announced that Beth Phoenix is announced for next week's Monday Night Raw. So Beth Phoenix is going to be at Monday Night Raw next week at the Barclays. She's going to give a medical update on Edge, on her husband. So Beth Phoenix is going to make an appearance next week. And so then we had the main event. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. And this was a decent main event between the both of them. So the bell rang. Both Orton and Kevin Owens end up locking up. They go into the corner. And Kevin Owens is just laying some big chops at Randy Orton. Randy Orton ended up trying to reverse it. Owens kept on beating him down with, punches, rights and left punches. Sorry about that again, but Kevin Owens was throwing, rights and lefts at Randy Orton. This was on the outside, so Kevin Owens ended up delivering a cannonball, and Orton ended up retreating out, to the floor. And Kevin Owens ends up sending Randy Orton, rib first into the barricade. Then Owens ends up delivering the cannonball into the barricade. And then we see Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. They end up appearing on the stage with AOP. Kevin Owens was yelling at them from the ring apron. He was telling Seth Rollins to bring it. And we heard Kevin Owens end up calling Seth Rollins a little bitch. So Orton then ended up attacking Kevin Owens from behind on the ring apron. And Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy and AOP are, at ringside. Orton then ended up running into a super kick from Kevin Owens. Rollins ends up looking on the outside. And we get the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits. They ran down. They fight off Buddy Murphy and AOP. And we had Seth Rollins was at ringside. Seth Rollins ends up walking across the ring apron. Kevin Owens ends up knocking Seth Rollins off. And Randy Orton then took advantage of the distraction. He ends up clotheslining Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens ends up going for the DDT. Owens ends up dropping Randy Orton over the top rope. And so then we see Seth Rollins end up trying to interfere again. Kevin Owens ends up kicking him into the barricade. So Orton ended up taking advantage of the match, drops Kevin Owens with a DDT, and Randy Orton was looking to go for the pin. And then the referee ends up calling the match. Referee ends up calling the match out of nowhere. The bell rings. Everyone is now confused. So because of that, Randy Orton then wins the match. So post-match, Randy Orton stares down at the referee. Randy Orton was confused. And the referee goes out to check on Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins looked confused too. So Randy Orton is standing over Kevin Owens. Seth Rollins ends up sliding 2 chairs into the ring. He ends up telling Randy Orton he knows what he wants to do this to Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens ends up grabbing a chair. So he's facing off with Randy Orton. Randy Orton has a chair. Kevin Owens has a chair. And one of the referees ends up yanking the chair from Kevin Owens' hands. And the referee ends up throwing it down to the floor next to Seth Rollins. I'm like, what is this referee doing? So Orton made his exit out of the ring. Owens ends up bringing the referee back into the ring. And it was revealed that the referee was wearing, Seth Rollins' Monday Night Messiah shirt under his referee shirt. So Seth Rollins was surprised, and we end up hearing Seth Rollins say that he had nothing to do with this. So Tom Phillips on commentary ended up saying that this referee is one of Seth Rollins' disciples. So Seth Rollins was throwing a hissy fit on the stage. He ends up saying that guy is a good man, a good referee. So Kevin Owens then delivered the stunner to the referee. got a pop from the crowd. And so Seth Rollins was still yelling at Kevin Owens from the stage. So Kevin Owens went under the ring. He ended up bringing a table out from under the ring. Fans were cheering for Kevin Owens because he brought out the table. And Seth Rollins was still looking on from the stage. And then we see Kevin Owens powerbombs that referee through the table. And Kevin Owens then takes a chair next to the referee who went through the table. Takes the chair, sets it up, sits down, and he's staring up at Seth Rollins. And pretty much that was basically how Monday Night Raw ended. But really confused, at what happened at the end of Raw with that referee. But overall, Monday Night Raw this week was just an average show. But that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. And definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And like I said, there will be no Monday Night Raw review next week because I will be there. And it's a big week for wrestling. So we had Raw tonight. We have AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. Super ShowDown on Thursday, which I'm going to review. We got SmackDown on Friday. And I forgot in my live video, Saturday is AEW Revolution. So that's going to be on Saturday. SmackDown, there will be no review of that on Friday because I'm going to be working Friday night. So it'll possibly be up maybe Sunday, because I want to review AEW Revolution on Saturday. So, but big week for wrestling this week. So, thank you all for watching, and until next video, I'll see you all later.